Okay, the big decision this last weekend from Trev Alberts to let go of Scott Frost. Earlier in the week, we saw Dabo Swinney get his extension. In the offseason, Kirby Smart got his extension. Nick Saban signed a new deal. Who else did we see? We saw James Franklin get the 10-year deal, over $70 million total. We saw Mel Tucker get the big deal. We saw Lincoln Riley. We saw Brian Kelly. Everyone's talking about, man, this is wild. We saw guys get fired after 4 games last year and 3 games this year. Clay Helton was shown the door, and Texas Tech fired their coach with 5 wins before they could get a 6th in the middle of the year so they could hire Joey McGuire, who was on a different staff. It's wild, right? The coaching carousel is wild. Every single time a coach gets a huge payday, buyout, any of it, I inevitably hear all the same things, which is, this is crazy. They don't deserve that much money. Why are they making these decisions? This is crazy. This is irrational. And it's easy to believe that that's true because that's the way that it looks on the surface. It's not the truth, though. The head coach of the football program is the most important hire that any university can make. And every president and athletic director will tell you that. When I'm talking with athletic directors, and I talked to one prominent athletic director this week in preparation for this show, and we were talking about the importance of the head coach and, more importantly, the football program. And to know kind of like what's going on with both of them, the president and the AD know that the football program is, to use an old term, like the front porch of the university. Okay, it is in large respect the identity of the institution. The identity of the institution is tied to the football program. Presidents know that. Chancellors know that. Athletic directors certainly know that. That identity is important to them. I mean, it's all they have. And we know as college football fans that the most important person in a football program is a head coach. When you don't have one, you fall by the wayside. When you fall by the wayside, the identity of your institution begins to fall and crumble with it. Why is that? Well, it's because the football program is the glue to the entire institution, not just the students on campus, but the students that are gone, the alumni, the fans that have grown up around it. It is what becomes the oneness of the university. It's the only place that everybody gets in the gear and goes to celebrate. We don't go and do that for any other institutional party. You know, graduation, we don't do that. We don't do it when they get a big research grant. We don't do that near, even for basketball games, you don't see 80, 90, 100,000. Football is it's where everyone comes back. It's where the good feelings come surrounding the university. You know how I know that? You walk around and you see somebody with a logo of the institution that you attended, you immediately are going to go up and give them go Buffs, fight on, go blue, OH, whatever, hook 'em, boomer. It's like it's an immediate identification. And then with that person who you've never met before in your life, you have this closeness, you have a bond. You have a bond with them. Why? Because of the football program. And the coach is the most important part of the football program. So when you start to think of it from that respect, now you think that these chancellors and presidents and ADs, they better get this right. And absolutely that's the case. The entire sentiment and the feeling of the entire institution and the identity of the institution is tied to the football program. When it's going well, it's great. When it's not going well, when I see somebody on a plane with a Buffs shirt, it's like a nod and then it's kind of like a because they're not very good right now. If they were winning like they did a couple of years ago and they went to the Pac-12 championship, it's like a high five in the plane. It's like, boom, yes! Are they doing great? Go Buffs! It's just different when the identity of the institution is positive. So why did Trev Alberts have to fire Scott Frost after game 3? To protect that identity, to protect it so that he can maintain the positive nature of the fan base and the alumni. So the president knows that they can put a positive spin on their institution. Okay? Why does Nick Saban get $11.7 million and Dabo Swinney get $11.5 million? Because they mean so much to the institution. Not just wins and losses. Coaches are so much bigger for a university than wins and losses. Let me just give you some numbers to back that up. At Alabama, the year before Nick Saban became the head coach, they were waffling a little bit. Was it a great institution? Yeah, it's a great institution. There's no doubt. It's Alabama. They have a great history, a great tradition, but it wasn't great at the moment. They had a total enrollment of 25,000 students, okay? You fast forward to today, Bama's enrollment is 38,000. Why? Because kids from all over the country have been watching Alabama in every single big game for the last decade plus. We had a girl that was a babysitter for our 3 small children here in Southern California. I mean, we live in Newport Beach. She went to Alabama. I mean, her whole family went to USC. Brother played at USC. She went to Alabama. Why? Because Nick Saban and the Tide made it cool. So 38,000 students, that's 13,000 more students that go to Alabama since Nick Saban became the coach every year. Okay, so that's every year. If you were to just round out what kids pay for tuition at Alabama, in-state it's a little over 11,000, out-of-state it's a little over 31,000. Let's just equal it all out. Let's just say on average 20 grand. Okay, 20 grand. I actually think that that's low because there's probably more out-of-state kids, in particular with the way the brand has resonated nationally. But let's be cautious with this estimate. Okay, so that's 13,000 students more that they have now than before Nick Saban came. And they're paying $20,000 a year. That's $260 million every year. A quarter bill because the football program made it cool. It's not just Alabama, by the way. It's Clemson as well. Clemson is a smaller school. Before Dabo Swinney became the head coach, 17,000 total enrollment. Now it's 26. That's 9,000 growth. On average, theirs is a little bit more expensive. Let's just call it, to be safe, 21, 22,000, right around there. Guess what? They're making a cool $190 million more every year. So when the athletic department, who's not part of the university budget, says, hey, you know that guy who makes everything go at our program, which then makes the institution cool across the country, which provides the identity for our alumni, which provides the positive nature moving forward, we're going to pay him $11 million a year. Guess what the chancellor and president says? Is that it? Great. Sign me up. Can we sign him to a 10-year deal? Fantastic. So when you look at it from that standpoint and not just, man, that's a lot of money. Yes, that's a lot of money, but these athletic departments are a business, and they are big business, by the way. Well into the 9 figures annually, these budgets. The football program has to pay for everything. Okay, not only the coach's salary, but they've got to pay for all the other sports to go and compete that don't make any money. All right, so to have that guy and to have the positivity surrounding your university and institution as a whole is invaluable. So why do you fire your coach after 3 games? To retain the positive movement going forward. Why do you pay your coach $11.5 million? Because in the grand scheme, it's a drop in the bucket when you make a cool quarter bill annually because he made it cool to go there for a kid in Newport Beach, California. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.